لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر
उस केस में उनको मेरे केस में उनको फॉरेन डिवीजन मैनेजर
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can I request a couple of people to unmute yourself or raise your hand if you can hear me, please?
Wait, she didn't say.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. I hope
Walaikum
you all can
salam.
hear me.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Dr. Karimuddin can hear me, so I'm assuming most of you can hear me as well. Good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome to a session on modest fashion. Oops. Oh, sorry. I've got my, as usual, I've gotten my notes mixed up. This is not a session on modest fashion. This is a very, very informative session on something that is probably on our minds every single day for the last 4 months. So number one, I would request all of you to please kindly mute your mics for now, please. In the end, like I said, we are aiming for a 20-minute session, inshallah. So it's 2 or 3 right now. So we are aiming for a 20-minute session wherein I will give a sort of a brief introduction about Padho and Padhao and who I am representing today. In fact, it's an honor and privilege to be representing them today. And it will be followed by a lecture by Dr. Karimuddin. And then we have endeavored to have a 10-minute question and answer session. So we have received a few questions already because we had shared extensively on WhatsApp groups. So we have a few questions already. However, if you do have a few questions which you want to ask related to the lecture, you can ask it after the lecture is over. So like I said, I am here on behalf
just 1 minute, Samira. Just 1 minute, please. 1 minute. Your mic has been muted. 1 minute.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So just a very quick introduction about Padho and Padhao. First, so Padho and Padhao, we are a program. We are only a few weeks old, and like many of you know, this is the brainchild of Mrs. Nikhat Jamil, who is hosting, helping me with the virtual hosting of this meeting. And it is supported by Sana Junaid and myself. This is an initiative wherein the students are teaching students. And of course, this is a free program. And when we started a few weeks back, we had no idea how fulfilling and empowering this experience would be, not only for the 3 of us, but for the students who, like teachers, have been teaching students. In fact, many of them are just a year younger than them. So we've got a grade 6 teacher who's actually a student, but who's teaching a grade 5 peer. So it's been a fantastic experience. We have, just yesterday, we have created our Instagram account. So we will give you all those details later. But it is our endeavor to instill qualities of giving back to the community in these young students and teachers who are now teaching English, math, languages, home sciences, personal development. So it's fantastic. I'll stop now and I will talk a bit about my very, very, very special guest today, Dr. Karimuddin. For many of you, he doesn't need an introduction because not only has he treated you, not only has he not only has he treated you as a child, but now he's probably treating your kids as well. And we hope and pray that this just goes on and on. So Dr. Karimuddin, a very, very warm welcome to you on behalf of Paro and Parao. It is truly a privilege and an honor having you on board today.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Good
salam.
afternoon. And to my friends in India, namaste. All these signs of greeting have come in handy in a pandemic arena. Salam alaikum, yes, we don't touch each other and we say salam and it goes to Allah. Namaste, yes, we don't shake hands and we just raise our hands and greet us. So in this pandemic area, these signs of greetings are wonderful. So I hope you all accept this. Thank you very much, Samira, and thank you very much for the organizers giving me a chance to speak about the latest terrible situation which we are going through for the past 4 to 5 months. About the coronavirus, I don't have to go to the history and the origin of it. All of you know that it was somewhere in the end of last year, December, it originated from China and then spread to all over the world. First of all, I want to say very clearly, this is a very, very unique virus. It is not like any other virus what we thought of. As the days goes on, it is proving to be a very, very unique virus because it has a confusing symptoms and confusing affection of the organs, and it has confusing toll on different age group, and that is why it is called a unique virus. I like to quote some of the phrases which have been said about it. What I'm talking today is all evidence-based. It is nothing out of the blue. People who have been on it day and night and what they have quoted. One of the very eminent doctor who has spent all his life on virology, dealt with the very severe viruses like HIV, Ebola, and Zika, Chikungunya, all those things. Like me, who have gone through the virus infections for the past 40 years in the city of Jeddah. And this virus is definitely, and I have never seen a pathogen in this virus with an amazing spectrum of diseases and severity, ranging from younger people, 20 to 40% of the people are infected having no symptoms. Definitely, they are not having any symptoms. They are just going around as a carriers. But then you have people who get mildly ill and ill enough to stay at home, and after a few weeks are to a point where it brings them to their knees within few weeks, and have post-viral syndrome. They have all post-viral syndrome. They get over the viral acute infection and then they have post-viral syndrome. And this post-viral syndrome is a very, I will come back to it very quickly. And before that, I'll tell the range of people, age people who are getting this. As I told you, 20 to 40%, they don't get any symptoms. But then we have people who are vulnerable people, which is the list is first of all, elderly people. They said in the initial stages in the month of January, February, they said 65 plus should be very careful. But then it's now coming to 40 plus, 40, 50. The severity increases with the age increases itself. It is definitely depending on the age factor. Then the people with the pre-existing conditions like heart conditions, chronic kidney conditions, pulmonary diseases, which has obstructive pulmonary diseases, and the sickle cell anemia and so forth. Obesity, yes, they have said people who are obese, they are also 1.5%, they are more likely to get affected with severe conditions. Diabetes, yes, they say diabetic type 1 and type 2, they are 3 times more affected by this. Smokers, of course, the same thing about. And now the latest finding is the pregnant woman. The pregnant women have 5.5 times more likely to get severe infection. So you have to be careful with every pregnant lady whom you are coming across. As youngsters who don't suffer with any symptoms, but the carriers, when they meet, that is why it is said that it is better not to meet them, and better not to meet the elderly people, 65, 70. In UK, I have my brother-in-law and his wife, 65 plus. They are completely isolated at home. They are working up from home, both of them doctors working from home, but their grandchildren are not supposed to come and meet them. This is because if the grandchild is a carrier, because most of the pediatric cases are symptomless, if they are carrier, and then they are going to infect the elderly people. So the elderly people are well protected there. I'm talking about the chronic phase. In chronic phase, we do not know what is the long-term consequences of this. The virus acute phase, after that, what are going to be the very, very serious long-term consequences have been tested. It is called post-viral symptoms. And there's one recognized thing is they call is the myalgic encephalomyelitis. It's affecting the brain, and which put the patient into chronic fatigue syndrome. They have chronic fatigue syndrome and they cannot move around freely and all this. This is about the chronic phase of this disease. Now coming to other parts of the diseases, this is all I'm just briefing you with all scientific evidences. Now we are going through the this is about the chronic phase and about the virus itself in the acute phase. The chronic phase also, they say they have symptoms which lingering on for months and years. They are predicting like that also. And then the most important other thing is the affection of the elderly people. And also the one thing we do know is it goes on for people first looking at people who progressively rapidly, when the patient is admitted in the hospital, found positive, but then he got sick and went to the hospital, they look like they are okay. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, dramatically, they crash and go on ventilators, and some of them go on a very severe attack of respiratory diseases, and then some of them die also. I have a very personal experience. My very close friend, Dr. Rahana in UK, we have been in touch with her every day and with the husband, and we were telling, yeah, improving. And even the last day before she passed away, she was improving. And in the morning, I got a news that she passed away early morning in the night. So this is a disease which is going to be a very, very serious disease, and we have to keep that in mind. Then what we talking about is a term called mutation. I don't want to go into the detail about the scientific detail about the mutation, but mutation is the virus, it mutates. And they found out, fortunately they found out this mutation allows the virus to bind more rapidly to the cells of the body, and then they get the infection very severely.
कोविड एंड किड्स बता रहे
Hmm? Sorry. Okay.
It's okay, Dr. Karimuddin. I think one of the participants has probably not muted their their mic. Can we please request you to continue your lecture?
Okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now
Yeah.
the other things what I want to tell you about is the pandemic. This is the why we are calling it a pandemic. Why we are in the pandemic? It is a it's a see if it is a declared pandemic because it has spread all over the world, and during pandemic we have to be very careful. As one of the very great expert has said, he says that we have such pushback on the people not wanting to wear a mask in pandemic situation. People are given instruction how to protect themselves and how to protect others. Like in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah, been asked to wear a mask and keep a distance of 2 meters and don't go into crowded places, and all these things are the part of the pandemic. And now this is one of the worst pandemic for over a century, and because we never had this kind of serious disease which forces to have all these precautions to be taken. Now we have to in this pandemic situation, we have to be very positive, very careful not to make it prolonged. The pandemic period should not be prolonged because of something we don't follow. So then yeah.
Dr. Karimuddin, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry to stop you here. We've actually received some very relevant questions from a couple of our participants, namely Mrs. Lubna Magdoum and Mrs. Aiza.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I think one of them, it is so relevant that can I just ask you that so we could sort of include that as a part of our lecture? Is that okay, please?
Yeah, it's okay. Just
Okay,
what I will
thank
do
you.
is I will just go through briefly the points what I have to mention, so that I make it very clear what kind of problem we are facing today.
Okay.
And then I will take up the questions.
Which you're aware of, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sure.
this is the then during this pandemic, the diagnostic procedures are very important, because we have to really, now we are getting previously we are getting results in 5 days, and persons are admitted in the hospital, they get the test done, but then they have to wait in the isolation, total isolation for 5 days before they get result. Now we are spending, governments are spending a lot of money, like America has spent about $500 million to produce quick results, and or they are bringing out a very dynamic diagnostic sets, and even in Jeddah also we are getting into that, and that will ease our diagnosing time and starting the treatment. As far as treatment is concerned, there are not much medicines have been discovered, and whatever medicines have been there, it has been all on trial basis, and some of them are coming in and going out. But most of this treatment of the coronavirus serious conditions are symptomatic. Then about the about this is about the treatment very briefly. And, then what we are talking about is finally we are talking about the situation in the hospitals. I like to slightly briefly mention about this, because I'm going through this day in and day out, and how the doctors and all these people are facing the problem of treating the patients. And I don't know how many of you listening today have been to a hospital, have been to a coronavirus ward, or have been talking to a doctor who is dealing with them. Because in my hospital personally, there were 5 doctors who were positive, and one of them was very much seriously ill, and he was in tears, and when he's narrating the problem he faced with this disease. And they are the real heroes and the frontline workers. To safeguard them, we have to understand the realities of keeping ourselves in a very, very scientific way of thinking everything and keeping a distance, wearing the mask, and all these things. If you want to, yeah, we can go ahead, Samira, with some of the questions you wanted to.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Karimuddin. I'm just a bit conscious, of the time, and hence I had to interview you with you over there.
No problem.
Like I said, we had a couple of very, very interesting questions, which might be, like especially on the mind of many people. So basically, one of 3, I'll read out 3 of them for now.
Yeah.
Question number 1. Is it true that our children's immune systems have weakened in the last 4 months as they haven't been exposed to any community contracted diseases or germs? My children haven't fallen sick in this time even once. Question number 2. Is it safe for our children who are under 10 years of age to wear masks for long school hours? We are hearing that schools might be starting next month around 30th of August, but this is so suffocating. Question number 3, if schools decide to open, is it enough to have our children wear masks, which basically enables them to avoid inhalation and wash hands often, and basically avoid contact and wash hands? I'm assuming that's what she meant. What other precautions can we already talk to and prepare the children for once they go back to school next month?
Yeah, question number 1, the answer is about weakening of the immune system. There is nothing such a term like a weakening of immune system. It's only development of immune system. Immune system is developed by exposure, either by the virus and bacteria or by vaccine. Children who have already been exposed to various viruses, they have developed day in and day out. And when I see children in the clinic with different kind of viruses, bacteria, a single virus can trigger an immune system which will be protecting the group of the viruses. So there is no thing as the weakening of immune system. It's only developing of immune system. It's a good question, actually. That is why in my previous talk, I have told them to don't delay the vaccine, because the vaccines only protect the children by developing the immune system. And once the lockdown is removed and we know how we are going to meet each other and all those things, that time if the children are not protected by the routine vaccines, they will be subject to serious illnesses. Question number 2, Samira?
Yeah, question number 2, doctor, it was, is it safe for children under 10 years of age to wear masks for long school hours? Obviously, the mother is concerned because they're quite suffocating, right? So what will the children, I mean, are they supposed to wear the masks? Because once they get back to school, because what we're hearing, Dr. Karimuddin, is that the schools, many schools will be starting not only virtually, but physically as well. And we're hearing of something like hybrid learning, where in the week they will be virtually learning for a couple of days and actually physically going to school for a couple of days. So obviously, when they do go to school those couple of days, the schools have promised us that they will be following very strict hygiene measures. And obviously, the students will be expected to wear masks. In fact, I'm sure not only students, but even the drivers and the maids and the parents who are dropping these students, they have to follow those SOPs that you have mentioned. So the question was, if the kids are going to school for, let's say, 3 hours, are they expected to wear the mask throughout the 3 hours?
Yeah, I think there is no guidelines about that so far.
Okay.
I'm very, very hopeful the MOH, the Ministry of Health, will come out with the guidelines. As far
Okay.
as a pediatric point of view, I think I don't think wearing a mask below the age of 6 and 7 will be safe. It will not be safe to wear a mask below the age of at least 7 and above. Children can wear a mask for about 3 to 4 hours. And I'm sure the schools, when they reopen, they will be not reopening fully. They will be reopening in phases. Maybe
Yes.
maybe one class, if they have 20, 25 students, they will open up with 15 students at a time on alternate days. Some sort of arrangement will be made like that. And of
Yes.
course, we have to maintain the distance. We have to encourage them to wash their hand. They cannot wash their hand frequently. Then before leaving the house, they are going to put on gloves and be on gloves. I hope the schools are not going to function more than three hours. That will be safe
Okay.
for them.
Okay. And doctor, is there a there's a thing about that you just mentioned that it's a bit impractical for the kids if they are sitting in the class to continuously go up and down to the washrooms and wash their hands. What are your recommendations about those alcohol-based sanitizers? Many of us used to be sending them with our kids that anyways. But maybe once the school starts, they can take that along and frequently use that as well simultaneously.
I don't think they need to use it very frequently.
Okay.
Throughout the class, 3 hours, they don't need to use that. And when they
Okay.
are coming out of the class, yes, definitely, either they can do it in the outside the classroom or after coming home. It's not going to be that strict.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Karimuddin. If it's okay with you, like I said, we have some questions from Mrs. Aiza Ashraf as well, and Mrs. Rubna Makhdoom. So I'll just share with you the second set of very interesting questions that we have received, which are, I think, particularly relevant now that we are having our Eid holidays. And there seems to be lots of planning going on for Eid Milan and Eid gatherings and Eid plans. So any outdoor plans that we can plan for the kids? If so, what precautions should we take when we are taking our kids to these places? I mean, these public parks and to the Corniche. And secondly, any special precautions that need to be taken or kept in mind for asthmatic kids with asthma, because they might have some allergy issues. And one mother has asked a very relevant question, doctor. Play areas and parks, are these okay or not? So we're putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, my right away answer is not safe. My right away answer is like me, and personally, all my medical staff in my hospital, all of us have forgotten that there is a Eid, there is a Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha, birthday party, anniversaries, not for 2020. I think, as I told you, the younger generations who are 20 to 40%, they don't get symptoms, but they can carry the virus. When they carry the virus, they carry home. And if they are living with their parents, with their grandparents, they are going to really infect them. This is well said by all the experts. And that is why they have been advising the youngsters to be very, very practical and don't be in a hurry. And I personally don't think that if you don't celebrate your child birthday or if you don't celebrate the Eid al-Adha for a 1 year period, the skies are not going to fall. Why I'm telling this is, there is a very good paper came out recently about the vaccine development. I myself have seen the production of vaccine. I'm a member of the Saudi Vaccine Forum. and we have been going around every year to different plants, vaccine plants which are prepared. My last visit was in France. I know how difficult it is to prepare a vaccine. How many years, not months. It takes years to prepare a vaccine. But now, because of the seriousness of this coronavirus, all the government, most of the government, including Indian government, are pouring lots of funds to prepare a vaccine as quickly as possible. And I like to tell you, there is a hope that the vaccines will be out either end of December or in the first week of January. It will be on a mass production, and then maybe this vaccine which are produced in a shorter period. This is not they're going in a hurried way because of the improvement in the technology. They are able to guarantee us to produce this vaccine in a shorter period. And even though it's not going to have a long-lasting effect, maybe we have to re-vaccinate of some time. It's not like chicken pox and the measles.
Thank you. Yeah.
The measles vaccine is now in the routine. Measles vaccines are given 3 times in the life of the child, which gives a lifelong protection. It may not be, but then it's going to definitely protect you. So why not till January?
Right. Doctor, thank you for that point. I mean, from a medical point of view, I can totally agree with you where you are coming from, right? But then we've just received a very interesting question, Doctor. So basically, COVID-19, the lady is saying that COVID-19 has been affecting most of us emotionally as well. How do we cope up with that?
Yeah. The other day I talked about the mental health of the children because of this. Yeah, it is a fact. It's a fact that most of us, including, and in fact, if you visit these hospitals where the COVID patients are being treated, you can see the mental health of the doctors. Mental health of the doctors, depression, no sleep, no eating, so many things. Do they give up treating the patient? Do they give up going to the hospital? No, they still continue with the mental problem. And what's wrong with you people when you have mental depression to continue the normal life? I can't understand that, because everybody is going through this. The doctors, the administrators, the government, and the presidents are thinking of losing the election. Everything is going on. So we have to adopt ourselves. And this is not a permanent mental problem. There are patients who are suffering with a permanent mental problem. These things we have to. That's what I told in my talk in between that about the vaccine. Please wait till January. Please wait till January. Make yourself comfortable. Now this with the technology, the Zoom, the WhatsApp, and whatnot. You can talk with your friends. You can interact with your friends. You can see your parents back home, everywhere. And there is no need for any mental tension at all. Compared to the doctors, compared to the medical staff working in the hospitals, going through such a terrible state of mind. Still, they are not given up. And we have been asked, we have taken an oath that we will treat all the patients, whatever it may comes. And we are going to do that. I am at this age going to the clinic. Why? Because my patients want me to see them. I know that I'm putting myself in the risk. I may not get enough sleep. I'm also going through mental tension. Did I stop going to the clinic? No. So this is my advice to all my young people. Please bear with this virus. Don't be in a hurry. If you don't have any social interaction or anything for that matter for a year, doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. So don't rush up with this, because the latest request by the most renewed psychologists or the doctors in America. I am just going to read you a few lines. Bear with me. Can I go ahead?
You can obviously go ahead, Doctor. My only concern is that the Zoom link will automatically discontinue in less than in about
Oh.
2-3 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So-
Just go ahead. The
so-
next question. What is the? If it is,
No. What I'm thinking now, Dr. Karimuddin, is if you don't mind, you can please wrap up in 2 minutes if that's okay with you. We
it's only maybe 1 minute. What they say is young people are driving the latest surge of cases. They are very definitely saying that. They are making a big mistake by thinking it doesn't matter if they get infected, even though many of them won't get very sick. But allowing themselves to get infected means they are propagating the pandemic. We have to keep that in mind. We are propagating the pandemic, and the pandemic will continue, and we'll face all these problems.
Right. So we will be. Thank you for that, Dr. Karimuddin. If you don't mind, it is a Friday, and it might be your siesta time. But if it's okay with you, and if it's okay with everyone, we have quite a few. I've received a couple of interesting questions. Can we reconnect and rejoin? Shall we do that, please, Dr. Karimuddin, if that's okay with you?
Yes.
Okay.
No problem.
Thank you. So I would request everyone, please, to please kindly leave the meeting. And Mrs. Nikhat, if you could please enable us all